I am Empress, Goddess, Queen and Queen Mother of all my choices. My desires, empowered voice and release of all negativity are my successes. Clearing my way in better preparation for where I deserve to be. Ashe. A determined force am I, greater than any obstacle in my path. I am word sound of power in this traveled road of life experiences and well-learned lessons. Daily, my soul and will pour out into the spiritual universe for earthly manifestations. Spiritually protected, supported and provided for is the Empress, Goddess, Queen and Queen Mother I am. Ashe, Ashe, Asheo. Yes, I'm back again, Rastafari Part 2. And welcome again to Ghana Empress, A Journey Home. Okay, for those who've watched Part 1, we touched on off-grid living and yes, some of the challenges. How serious are you? Are you interested in us opening our land to support you in getting where you're going and have the experience of setting up? But in this video, I wanted to look at, apart from the myriads of challenges some of us have to get ourselves in order, I want to look at some of them that we don't have control over. Let's begin. Brexit issues in England. Food prices, food shortages, food prices rocketing, job issues, and our friend COVID-19. I went to see my champion in Jamaica, my king, after 2 years of not seeing him. I had been living in Jamaica, living the dream, on a semi-rural farm, eating, well, he was the cook. We only had our meals that were cooked on wood fire, which he would go and get. Bathe in the local river, bathe from spring water sometimes, drink spring water, you name it, it was fantastic. I had no money. My money had died a while ago and I was unable to come back to England. Came back, sorted myself out, got on my feet. 2 years later, I went back to see my king man, check him. Now, that was great. I was all right. I was on my feet. Everything was good. I would say everything was very, very, very good for me. I wasn't well. I had a hip injury, but got there and spent up the pound them. Yeah, the exchange rate, I can't remember, 100 and something. And yes, I'd missed the food, certain type of food and whatever. So yeah, me and him go supermarket and we go on bad and go market and we go on bad. And then COVID hit. So it turned into 4 months that I was out there. And originally I was only meant to be out there for 5 weeks. So 4 months. I'd only bought a budget for 5 weeks because we had our plans. And I was keeping everything nice and tight. So that was 4 months of paying rent in England that had to be in my account. That was 4 months of finding food that I didn't bring with me. That was 4 months of, I didn't move around because I didn't move. I was practical like that. But it was 4 months of basically living, and at the time, my king man was no longer on the farm that he was on originally, when we were going through our various 10-year process of being and living. like that. So it was interesting. It was interesting. So here we are, 2021, and the beasts are going with where them are going with. And it affects us all. Doesn't matter how much money you have, whatever, it affects us all. But for those who are economically polite, not necessarily embarrassed yet, but polite, how do we work with that? We want to go on, but we want to visit first. You've paid for all the, your tickets, the visa, your tests, all of that has been paid for. You land. Yes, man, you're nice. You're there, yard. Bam. COVID hits. They don't open the line for another. They don't open the airways, the airport for another 9-10 months, if not more. Can be less. I had a brother who was out in Ghana at the time where COVID hit and they closed the airport, and he was out there for 10 months. That's a long time if you've only intended to travel and be there for 2 weeks. I'm laughing. It's not that I laugh when things happen, it's the comedy of life. How are you going to manage? Well, if my king man was sitting here, he'd say, Kalalua, and it takes 6 weeks to grow, because he really has a very clear perspective on life. And the root of his thinking is in nature, because that's the strength of his relationship. His backbone is nature. Well, my question would be, what do I do for the first 6 weeks before the kalalo grow? But as he always says, there is always something. Okay, that sounds good, but we're actually, including me, we're in an environment where we're not familiar. We're in an environment where we don't know anyone. You can always make friends and such, but fundamentally you don't know anyone, so you don't know the quality of that friendship or relationship that you're building or feel that you are building. You do not know the intention of the other persons, the fantasies around us in the West of how much we have, the lavish lifestyles we're living, and how easy it is, and how much money and how easy that is to get. We are going to do. Please jot that down. Jot it down. Because that's a reality that we don't control, and it hits us hard and it impacts upon us. Now, so far, whether Woody Maya, whether the search for Uhuru brother, or any of the others, from what I've seen so far, there's no way out of it but to be serious. That's the starting point, because everybody that's left wherever they've left and gone to live in Ghana or Nigeria or just travelled there have made it happen. And those who've chosen to stay there have also made it happen. How have they made it happen? I don't know. How will we make it happen? I don't know. We've got our will. Before our will, give Rastafari thanks. Have our health. Have our will. Our determination. Vision. And as long as that is in alignment with the higher ones, as long as that is in alignment, the likelihood is we will succeed. Ayana Van Zandt, one of my girls, I think she was in her center in America, somewhere anyway, and she was holding some kind of something, whether a healing session or a course or group. I don't know. All the people did that. And a sister, African sister, came up to the front, and not on stage, came up to the front and asked a question. Can't remember a question. Ayanda Van Zandt, with the mic in her hand, bent down to the sister and said, I'm going to give you a present. I am all for that, because she gave her something. I'm getting in touch, come me want something too. And she said, do you want a present from me? I'm going to give you something right now. And I'm like, yes, stop the chatting, bring on this something. And she leant in, bent into the Samadhi and said, refuse to fail. If you have to go without shoes, refuse to fail. If you have to be homeless, sleep out, refuse to fail. People me bex, you know, kind of foolishness. What kind of foolish? I didn't need help there, because that was already happening to me. I didn't need help. But the point is, 60-year-old wonder women, 60-plus-year-old wonder women, empresses, sistren, queen mothers. It's okay to refuse to fail. And many of you, me included, have done it in many areas. Some of those areas have served us well and continue to serve us well. Some of those areas have never served us and never will. Some of those areas have passed their sell-by date. It's no longer necessary. So, refuse to fail. If you want go yard, refuse to fail. How you're going to get to yard? But we can support each other. This is what the channel is, but only for the serious. So yet again, if you didn't hear my suggestion in video 1, I'll give it to you again. Stargard, which way is up? Rastafari, give thanks. Thank you for watching. If you like video 2, hit the notification button. Please do subscribe. And let me know what you'd like to see me do a video on next. I'm actually in the UK, so you won't get any of the glossy, pretty, ideal type of videos that are being done for people returning to Ghana or Nigeria, wherever. We're actually going to Ghana. We're on the grassroots level. How do we get ourselves mobilized up and ready? Okay, give thanks, Rastafari. Thank you.